Hey, what's up guys? Today we're finally getting to season 2 of Sousai Shojo Teien, which I think this is the first time that I'm reviewing any model kits of characters from, I think, what they're calling like the second season of these characters. Anyway, this is Eimi Nijimura here. Her character is like a photographer, high school student. Anyway, so obviously for the first handful of releases for this line, we saw basically a number of different variations of the same 3 characters. Now they've got more characters coming out. I'm actually a little bit behind in the line. I have a bunch more that I need to review for you guys. So there's already multiple versions of Eimi available as well. But in today's video, we'll be taking a look at her. And then we'll also be taking a look at this set of the Dress Up Shoes Volume 1. So I think these are called like the after school sets or whatever, these option sets that they sell separately for giving you just basically more option parts or more accessories. And in this case, it's just going to be a bunch of different like optional shoes that you can use on the kit. So I think some of these will fit pretty well in terms of being good options for this particular kit. Some of like the sandals kind of don't really go so well exactly with like the school uniform, but would go better with some of like the swimsuit style variants. But anyway, we'll take a look at these in today's video as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. And so before we get into the contents inside and the model kit, we'll just take a moment to appreciate the box art and what we've got here on the outside of the box. As in typical style, we've got a vertical format here for the box art with a really nice character illustration on the front, the name and titling up here at the top, and then the signature down here at the bottom as well. Another key aspect of the artwork for these. The ends of the box just going to have a close-up and then the titling over here. We got vertical box art here for one side of the box with another character illustration and then the model kit there. And you can see some more options for the face options, skirt options that we're going to have included, and then accessories. Like I said, we've got the camera, an optional lens for the camera, cell phone, which is a constant accessory with these, and backpack. On the other side of the box here, you can see what the kit is going to look like unpainted, just straight out of the box. It's going to look really nice there, it looks like. And then our face options once again, waterside decals included, and MSRP for this one coming in at 7,200 yen. So all right, let's get into it. It's been a little bit since I've built one of these, so I'm looking forward to it. I do enjoy these kits. They're a lot of fun to put together. Here is our waterside decal sheet with a bunch of eye decals, and then also these pinstriping decals for her kind of like a bow tie ribbon. So you've got those on here. But I think, as I remember, those are also pre-printed for us on the parts. So you kind of have the option whether you want to use the pre-printed one or the non-printed one. You could paint it in a different color and then put the waterside decals on top. We'll come back to the runners in just a moment. First, I just wanted to take a quick look here at the instruction manual. We've got the box art there on the front, minus the signature, interestingly, so it's changed up a little bit from the box. On the inside, we've once again got that alternate illustration and then a couple images of the kit. We've got some more information about the character here in Japanese, and then some different images that you can see over here kind of with some different option sets. So like I said, there's different option sets that give you kind of different costumes, table and chairs, this kind of stuff. Short little kind of manga sort of comic strip there, and then a little bit about the YouTube channel as well. So they've got their own YouTube channel for this series. The parts list is a separate fold out page here, which is printed all in color, which has the runners there in color, and then also some of the option, or like some of the parts that you have included that are not on the runners are all kind of here laid out. So basically all the contents here on this kind of separate sheet. But then back to like the main instruction manual here, it just gets right on into the construction of the head. And then obviously we'll have a bunch of options. So we've also got some interjections along the way from our little chibi character there, giving some commentary there in Japanese. And the instruction manual for this one, I have to say, does feel kind of thick. I mean, the construction of these, there's a lot of parts, but I mean, the construction is pretty quick. I mean, there's basically like a lot of option parts, because like all the parts that you're gonna use for the main body, it's not like all that many, but then there's a lot of parts here. Like this is just for like option parts for the different pose of the body, which is gonna basically build a whole like second body. So there's a lot of options and all that, different option parts for the hair. And then here at the back, we've got our original color simulation. So this is if you wanted to make a different color scheme for yours, like this is the alternate color, or like basically like the P Bandai version. Kotobukiya makes their Kotobukiya web shop exclusive versions, which we do carry here at USA Gundam Store. So if you guys are ever interested in the alternate color versions of these kits, we do normally get them in from Kotobukiya. But in this case, the alternate color version is here in pink with a white hat instead. But if you wanted to plan out your own color scheme, you can use this line art, just kind of scan that into your computer, put some different colors here for the different parts, and just try those out. So it's really nice that that's included here in the guide as well. I do really appreciate that. But then if you wanted to stick with the standard colors, the color and decal guide is over here for you. that's all laid out there in Japanese. All right, and then for our pre-printed parts here, we've got the shoes printed, which look really, really nice there. Those look to be molded in blue with the white printed on top, and then some more parts here for the bottom of the shoes there, kind of molded in white with the blue printed for the sole. We've got our parts here for the pants, which are molded in skin tone, and then you have that light pink pre-painted on top. 3 pre-printed face option parts here, which look really nice. We'll take a closer look at those in the review. We've also got the C runner here, which is going to be our clear camera lens parts there in a clear purple. Next runners are going to be of our hand option parts. So we've got 2 of these softer plastic molded in skin tone runners here of just a bunch of different hand option parts. Again, we'll go through all of those in the review portion of the video. Runner A then is some more skin tone colored parts here, mostly for the legs it looks like. Runner B is going to be our hair parts here in a light blue. Runner C, some more skin tone colored parts here for the arms and legs. Then we've got a few smaller runners here. Runner D, molded in black, is going to be our camera parts there. Some really nice detail on those. Runners E and F are some more parts in skin tone, basically parts for the head and neck there. Runner F is going to be our face option parts that are not printed if you wanted to paint those or use the decals or whatever on those if you wanted to. Runner G is some parts here in a very, very light lavender color there for like the shirt. Runner H is in a dark gray color here for parts for the hat and backpack. Runner I, here we have 2 of. It's basically just parts for that ribbon. I don't know why there's so many. Well, I guess we have option body parts, so you're going to have to use more than one, but we just have the one which is printed for you already with like the striping on there. Runner J is in this kind of grayish purple kind of color here, parts for the skirt. Runner K is back to that very, very light lavender color, some more option parts for our different option bodies. It looks like we're going to have like 3 different options for the torso. Runner L here in off-white is basically going to be parts for like the ankles for simulating the socks. Runner M is some more skirt parts here. So again, a few different options for your skirt, however you want to have that pose. This is going to be more parts in that purplish gray color. Runner N we have 3 of, which is basically like the shoulder connection parts for inside the torso. And so with 3 torsos, we've got 3 sets of those. Runner O here in this light blue color is connection parts for connecting the character to the base. Runner P we have 3 of, and it's just a bunch of wrist joint parts here for all of our hand option parts. Runner T here in a royal blue color is just our parts for the cell phone. Last but not least here, Runner U is going to be our main part, the puzzle piece shape part here and the connection arm for the display base for this, which is usual for the line in this really nice kind of high gloss light blue color there. So that's everything. Let's go ahead and get it put together and check it out. All right, then here she is all built up. Obviously, we're just going to take a look at just the main core body first, and then we'll get through all of the accessories and everything, and then we'll also take a look at that shoe option set with this one. But again, as it is with this line, a really nice solid build and just a bunch of options that you have included in the box. So there's going to be a whole lot of stuff that you can do with this. I'll be able to show you a handful of those options in this video, but obviously, if you're also talking about mixing and matching parts with other kits and all sorts of customizability options that you have available for you just within the line and within, you know, Kotobukiya's other lines that are compatible with this, like the Megalomaria series, etc. There's a lot that you can do with these, but just focus on the main kit and her accessories here. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First of all, of course, we've got her included display base in the typical puzzle piece style in this light blue color to match her hair. Very glossy finish for the puzzle piece display base and the display arm here. Got a ball joint at the bottom and a ball joint here for the connection piece at the top, so you're able to adjust that. It's very thin, simple, but usually works very well for these if you need to use that. We've also got a number of other different type connection pieces here that you might need to use, just kind of depending on the angle. Some of these, like this one here, can come in handy because sometimes with the connection point for that being at the small of the back, if you're just trying to connect the base into here directly, sometimes just the skirt can get in the way. So a connection piece like this with like a longer arm allows this to get onto the base without the skirt getting in the way. So up next for our face option parts here, our first one is going to be with this kind of cute smile here and blushing cheeks. We've also got this other open mouth kind of happy face here. The painting and printing quality on these, the colors, everything looks fantastic. The third and final face here is also open mouth, kind of looking off to the other side with a kind of troublemaker sort of face there, I suppose. For our hair option parts, we've got an option part here for the front half of the hair that has these notches in the side. That is so if you wanted to use glasses. So obviously we don't have any glasses included as an option with this set, but there's other sets that include glasses, so you can use this hair part for that. And then this option part here, and this is if you want to use the hat. So the hat is just a couple pieces there, but looks really nice. It's got the ears on the top, and you can see how that's going to fit together. So it's going to fit into like the front part of the bangs there. So on the head, that'll just fit on there like that. So there is only one particular way that the hat fits on the head. If you wanted to have it like backwards or something like that, I think you might have to modify some of the parts. Or let's see, if you wanted to just kind of like rest it on top of the head backwards, yeah, I mean, it'll just fall off right away. You might have to put some like sticky tack or something on there, and it might look a bit odd. But like I said, you could always modify that, of course. And then if you wanted to have the hat and the glasses, then you also have this set of hair parts here as well, which has the connection points for both of those. Next up, for some of our hand option parts, obviously we have these open hands here like so. And we've got a bunch of different holding hands here, just kind of depending on what you're holding. If it's like a smaller pen type accessory or like a tablet or computer style accessory, something like that. If you want to just hold just kind of a standard accessory, some like weapon or something that has just a circular handle in there, something like that. And a few others here, sort of like half open, just kind of meant to hold all sorts of different things, just kind of depending on the pose that you're going for. You've got a lot of options. Also got just finger pointing hands here as well. And then these open hands here, kind of open like a cup shape, and then have a hard point there in the center. That small hole is for holding onto, well, actual cups if you have the cup accessories. But in this case, we're going to use this for the camera. So our camera accessory here has that clear purple part for the lens, looks really nice. And then this is just going to fit into hand. It has a little peg there on the bottom of that so that it can fit into the hand like so and have a nice solid grip on that. You have two options for the lens, the shorter type lens or this longer one, which also has a peg for fitting into the hand. Has a larger lens there on the end of that, kind of a big telephoto lens here if you wanted to use that. So it's an easy swap just to swap the lens on that, but some really nice detail here on the camera. It's all molded in black, of course, but if you were to paint that up, it'd look very realistic. Other handheld accessories then going to also include the cell phone. You've got two cell phones in blue. Now there is a very slight difference between the two. If you look at these real close, you can see that one is actually slightly thinner than the other one. And if we look here on the front on the screen, on this one, like the screen and the sides is all like flush, it's flat here, but on this one the screen is like slightly sunken in to the front of there. It's going to be a really small difference between the two, but I guess it's just kind of like depending on how you might want to paint that or something, you could use a different one, whatever is more appropriate for you. I still really wish that they would start including water slide decals for the phone screens in these kits. I think that'd be really nice. Last of our external accessories then just going to be the backpack. Now for this is going to plug into that hard point on her back, and then these strap parts just kind of fit around her arms, so easy enough. Nice, quite big, quite very full backpack. Again, just all molded in one single color, but if you were to paint this up, it'd look quite nice. Now, we do have option parts for this, for the peg in the middle. If you're planning on using the backpack on the body with the bent type body, we'll take a look at that here in just a second, what that looks like. But you're going to use a different connection piece for that, one that's at a slight angle. And then we've got a different set of straps for this that will fit around the body when you have her in like the kind of bending pose or squatting pose, because we've got three different options here for the torso. One is just kind of a straight standing pose. One is at an angle, like if she were like raising the arm up, for an example, or you could use it in a number of different ways. We'll take a look at a couple of examples. And this one here is bending forward. So it's bending forward and then the neck is pointing up like that. In this case, the neck is kind of technically pointing off to the side, but if you're imagining it kind of like straight on, it's just got one arm raised like that. But again, you can kind of use it in different ways. And then for all of the different neck option parts, you've got these that have a larger ball joint. That's just going to be for if you wanted to kit bash with like the Megami Device kits, I believe it is, or Megami Device frame arms, mixing and matching between the different lines. Some of them use a different size ball joint for the head, so you can see one's a little bit larger than the other, so you can choose the right one depending on whatever head you might want to put onto the body. Lastly then, for her different skirt options, this one is just kind of straight, hanging loosely there. You also have this other one that is more sort of, you can make it like she's jumping or it's blowing in the wind or running, something like that. And then there's a third one here that's just sort of raised up in a different way, like maybe raising one leg up to the side or something like that. And then for the sitting or kneeling or squatting pose here, we've got a whole different set here for like the hip section and the thighs. You're just gonna swap the legs from the knee down onto this set here for the sitting position, and then a skirt piece here that is specifically made for adapting to the shape of the hips here in the sitting position as well. So obviously a whole bunch of parts there for the customization. As for the main kit, the articulation is going to be basically the same. You are going to have just a single joint in the elbow, but it gives you a pretty good range of movement here. Same thing with the knee, just a single joint there, but a pretty full bend, not more than 90 degrees, but not like completely 180 degrees. I think they had to kind of strike an even balance between trying to make this look lifelike and not having like a mechanical knee in there, because if they had made this to bend all the way to 180 degrees, they probably would have had to design the knee, and the joint would have been more obvious, and they want to try to hide the joint as much as possible there. But some nice articulation here at the feet to be able to move the feet around for different poses. Cool detail even up on the bottom side of the feet there with the KTBKY for Kotobukiya on the bottom side of the shoes, and then here on the side, just those shoes being really nicely detailed and nicely pre-painted is definitely a highlight of this kit, I think. And another thing that I noticed too when building this, it seems like the hair, especially the back half of the hair, was a lot more kind of parts that fit together to make it look even more realistic than we've seen on some past releases. So you have just a lot of parts going into the hair here to make it look really, really nice, I think. So that all comes together. And so once again with this series, as we're now taking a look at it here in a few different poses, the main thing is just going to be customization. I mean, obviously just with one kit, without buying anything else separately, you can just get one kit and get a bunch of different options here, as you can see, just within the box. So you don't have to buy anything extra necessarily to get a lot of options with this, between just, you can have the hat on or off, you have the camera, you have the cell phones, you have the backpack, you have different parts for the body and the skirt that you can use just kind of depending on the poses, a whole bunch of different hand option parts for holding all sorts of different accessories. I mean, for holding the accessories that are included, and then plenty for holding all sorts of different other stuff from other sets. So if you wanted to mix and match parts from other sets in this line, there's obviously a lot of different options there, and then between the accessory sets as well, there's definitely a lot that you can do with these. As I've talked about in past reviews, I do kind of wish that they would mix up the variety of the options that we get in these, because usually always just like a cell phone and a bag, and then maybe like one other thing possibly. And I get that they're all meant to be like schoolgirls, so it just kind of fits with the schoolgirl aesthetic, but I think it would be interesting to have a little bit more variety in terms of the accessories that are included with the kits. I know there is also the accessory sets that are sold separately, but just for what we get included, I mean, the cell phone, it's just like one single little piece. Okay, fine, include that in all the sets. But then it'd be nice to have one or two, maybe other just small little simple accessories. I think that would be a really nice thing to see in future kits. That said, I am pretty behind in this line, so there's a lot of newer kits in the line that I have to catch up on. Maybe some of those do have a bit more in terms of the included accessories. I'll be getting to some more of these reviews here in the near future, so just make sure you stay tuned for those. Make sure you're subscribed, of course. If you want to check out any of these kits, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store, of course. We got plenty of stuff there on the website. But as for the shoe option set, let's go ahead and take a look at those. So all right, then just to take a real quick look here at the Dress Up Shoes Volume 1 set. Here on the front, you can see the 5 different shoe options we've got for this. As I mentioned before, I've got 2 that are kind of like sandal options here, like slipper and then sandals. And then like some tennis shoe options, kind of school shoes here it looks like. Then we've even got what looks to be like the pump up style, like basketball shoes, kind of things that were popular in like the 90s, right? 80s, 90s, something like that. But this is in the smaller style box. Here on the side, you can see again, there's our different shoe options. And on the top of the box here, we can see the MSRP for 1,500 yen for this set. And then on the back, once again, just showing the different options that we've got here with this, and then how you can pair these up with the different style kits. So it's just showing a few options of how these will look on a couple different kits there. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. I'm curious to see how color accurate these are going to be straight out of the box. Looks like we've got a few different colors here, as you can see, and then we'll just take a quick look here at the instructions where we've got the parts list. Again, just a color image of how those are going to look, the color guide there as well for those, and just a real quick simple instructions for these. Obviously not going to be anything too complicated. A runner is going to be here in white. The B runner is here in skin tone for the feet parts of the sandaled feet. The C runner is a few parts here in blue. Then we've got these little V and W sort of runners here for a few more parts there in white. So all built up, we've got our 5 pair of shoes here. Now these ones here in all white, these are actually the exact same shoes that come with the kit. They're just not pre-painted for you. So the ones that come with this kit are all pre-painted with the blue accents picked out there for you. These are just going to all be in white. So if you want to get out the brush and some paint, you could hand paint these into a different color other than just all white, or just do some panel lining on there and just make them be just all white shoes. Could also be kind of cool. Then you've got these pump sneakers here as well. It just reminds me of those shoes that had a little like pump on the tongue, something like that. I think these are just meant to be different kind of sports sneakers or something, but some nice detail on the underside. We do have a little bit of color separation with these being molded in white and blue, but still could definitely use at least a little panel lining on there to bring out the details, if not just some more detail painting to see those. And these are just going to be easily swappable there at the feet. And then we've got this pair of, I think these would basically just be kind of like school slippers. They're just going to be plain on the bottom, no detail there. Pretty plain here on the top as well. But especially with these characters being school characters, it definitely makes sense to have these kind of school type slippers there included. So those are a nice accessory for sure. We've then got our two different options for sandals here as well. We've got the white on the bottom with some nice detail, and then blue for the part on the top. We've got flesh tone colored parts there for the toes and for like the back of the feet here. And these other kind of thicker, partially like high heel sandals here with the thong style on the top there. All in white on the bottom side here. Wish that was covered and not just an empty hollow gap there on the bottom of the sandals. That's a little bit disappointing. Just kind of depending on the pose, it's just gonna look kind of a bit odd there if you don't have these posed flat on the ground. The other problem you're gonna have is if you're planning on using these with a kit like this, is obviously for the lowermost part of the leg, these are designed to look like socks, which are not gonna match with the sandals. Also, this connection piece is also different and it will not actually even fit in here. So these I will not be able to demonstrate on this kit, and I think that will also apply to these ones as well. Yeah, because this connection piece here at the bottom of her leg is basically made to fit into a shoe, and then obviously works for the ones that are the same ones that come with the kit. But it's just something to think about if you are planning on getting this set. I think it comes with some shoes that would be good for some kits, and then like the sandals obviously would be more made for the swim style kits, which this is not one of. So all right, taking a look at the kit in a couple more poses here just to kind of show off a few of those shoe accessories for you guys. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at this kit and one of the option sets. I don't take a look at a lot of the option sets just because I just don't really have many of them, but this is a pretty nice set just to give you some different options for the shoes at least. And they're pretty versatile in that you've got like a few different options that would be good for some kits, different options that would be good for other kits. So it's good. If you have a collection of 2, 3, 4 or more of the different kits from this series, this one shoe set will give you some nice options for maybe a few of the different kits, a few of the different girls in your collection there. So it's not like it's one option set that will work really well for one kit and that's really kind of about it. So it's one option set that you can get that will give you options for, you know, in theory, 5 different kits. So there's some pretty nice value in that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below here of Eimi in general, just kind of as a character, as a kit. Is there anything that you particularly like or don't like about this set? And the shoe option set as well. What do you guys like about it? Let me know. I will be taking a look at some more kits in this line in the near future. Like I said, I'm behind. I think I have 4 or 5 more here on my shelf that I need to get caught up on, plus a couple more of the latest releases that I do plan on taking a look at as well. So stay tuned for those. Like I said, in the future, make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you check out USA Gundam Store, the website there, if you want to check out some more of these kits for yourself or anything else from Kotobukiya, of course. And thank you guys so much for checking out the video here today. I'll see you in the next one. Later.